Welcome to another episode of the Barely Onside podcast with your host, Jonny G. As you can see, Pelly's not with me tonight. He's not feeling great. So he's going to take the night off, but that's okay because I'm here and I'm excited. Tonight was amazing. I'm so happy they won. It didn't look like they were going to win at one point in the game, but they got it done, and that's what's important. Got the 2 points. Super stoked about that. So, because I'm solo, let's get right into the game. There's nothing to talk about other than the Montreal Canadiens beating the Ottawa Senators 6-3 tonight, which is purely amazing. I can't believe they did it. Let's be honest, it didn't look good for a little bit there, but the Habs got it done. So let's go through the scoring. Let's see who scored tonight. Christian Dvorak started off the scoring, scored his 8th goal of the season, assisted by David Savard and Brendan Gallagher. Lane Hudson scored his 5th, assisted by Jake Evans. Josh Anderson scored twice, his 11th and 12th of the season. Alex Carrier and Dvorak assisted on Anderson's first goal. Dvorak and Jake Evans assisted on Anderson's second goal of the game, which was an empty netter. Nick Suzuki scored his 21st goal of the season, assisted by Alex Newhook and Brendan Gallagher. Obviously, Nick Suzuki scored the game winner. It was huge. Simply amazing. Brendan Gallagher scored his 16th, assisted by Dvorak. That was an empty net goal as well. So, obviously, a big game for the third line tonight. A combined 9 points. Devo, 1 goal and 3 assists. This is a game after he scored his 100th goal of his NHL career. So, maybe the floodgates are open. So really excited about Devo. Anderson, 2 goals. You know, I had a feeling going into this game. Listening to his pregame comments, the interview this morning, and it just seemed like he was ready to go. You know what I mean? And like Ottawa, obviously a tough and rough team, a rough and tough team. And I think Anderson gets up for games like this. So I had a really good feeling about Anderson. He obviously had a huge game, 2 goals. Brendan Gallagher, a goal and an assist. Today, I saw a picture of Gallagher on Instagram with his baby. I think it was a baby girl. I'm not sure when his wife had the baby, but I think it must be in the last few weeks. I'm not totally sure. But whatever, he's a new dad. I'm a dad. I got 2 young girls myself. So obviously he had that extra motivation tonight. And absolutely love to see Gallagher produce like that. And then obviously that line. You know, since getting back from the Four Nations break, obviously the top line has been rolling. They've been doing so much, right? So it's really good to see the third line start producing. So that was amazing. I think it's the third line. Is it the fourth line? I think it's more the third line. I'm not totally sure, but looking at the minutes, and I didn't see the lineup tonight, but I feel like that's the third line. And they played like a third line for sure. And obviously, it just goes to show, right? Like Christian Dvorak, everybody thought this guy was going to be traded. And, it looked like he was going to be traded. Heading into the season, we all kind of expected him to be traded at the deadline. Contract going to be up right away here. And, but we all know Suzuki went into the office of Ken Hughes, said, please don't trade our guys. We like our team. We like, and what did Hughes say? Told Suzuki to win, right? And guess what? They won. Coming out of that Four Nations break, they won a lot. In fact, I don't know if they even lost. Maybe a shootout loss or whatever it was, or overtime loss. But they kept Dvorak. They kept Jake. They signed Jake Evans. They kept David Savard. Who else? Who am I missing here? I forget. But whatever. So they kept the guys, and just super happy they did. Devo's playing his best hockey, probably as a Montreal Canadien, right? Probably the best he's ever played. And like the wheels on him. The last few games, like he's flying out there. And now he's producing. Love it. But let's get back to Nick. Nick Suzuki, man. Nick Suzuki is a true leader. We all know that. You know what I mean? And I have so many arguments, discussions, whatever you want to call them. So many discussions on X, and on TikTok, and some people are not convinced that Nick Suzuki is the number one center, which is absolutely crazy. Not only is Nick Suzuki a number one center, for me, he's one of the best centers in the league. Top 10. Is it a stretch? Am I biased? Yeah, maybe. Maybe I am biased. But I watch him every single night. And that's why I feel so good about this kid. Sure, there's been moments, maybe that stretch before the break where the Montreal Canadiens were really struggling, where Nick could have been better. For sure. But that has come and gone. And the Nick that has been present, that has been here for this team since the return of the Four Nations break, it's amazing. It's not night and day. Points wise, it is, obviously. He's had a really good season up until that point, but did struggle prior to the break. But he took this to another level. In 11 games since the Four Nations break, Nick Suzuki has 18 points. 18 points. That's unreal. That's a guy who's leading the team to potentially the playoffs. That's what leaders do. And a lot of people, including myself, if we're being honest, right? And I think most Habs fans were, honestly, we did not expect this team to make the playoffs. And they haven't. There's still a ways to go for sure. They've put themselves in a really good spot. But we can thank Nick Suzuki, right? Nick Suzuki is a huge reason why this team is so close to a playoff spot. So close. That whole line, Cole Caulfield. Cole Caulfield, known for scoring. Such high hopes for this kid in terms of scoring. But his overall game is unreal right now. He's buzzing. You know what I mean? When he first came into the league, he had a great playoffs. When he first came into the league, his playoffs, he was intense. He was gritty. He played really hard. And then kind of the next couple of years, he was more of finding the open space on the ice to get his shot off, to find that offense. But especially this year, Cole is buzzing. He's buzzing around the ice. He is making things happen for himself. He does not need his line mates to create for him, right? He's creating for himself. And to be honest, it's just been amazing. Cole Caulfield is on another level. And Slav, love him. Stupid penalties tonight? Yeah, for sure. But still love him, man. He's working so hard out there. Love that line. The line looks good. They all look good. Yoel Armia on the fourth line looks a little off. I think he's still battling something. Looks a little off. Heineman hasn't scored since getting back from his injury, but still looks good. He's still hitting, still staying competitive. Like him, Jake Evans, I think he's on a little bit of a cold streak, but that's why he didn't get the big bucks. You know what I mean? You can't pay Jake Evans on this season alone up until he signed that extension. He was having a good season for sure, but I kind of always knew that this production, the level of production was going to quiet down, right? He's wasn't going to keep that pace. It's okay. We don't need Jake Evans to be a big time scorer. We don't need Heineman to be a big time scorer at this point. That fourth line does a really good job of shutting other teams down and creating energy. They're strong in the forecheck. Heineman likes to hit. Even Jake Evans tonight had a nice hit. So they're doing their job. And then the Patrick Laine, Newhook, and Joshua Waugh. Joshua Waugh, another decent game. Okay, is he a superstar in the making? No, I'm sorry. He's not going to be a superstar in the making. But seems like a serviceable player. Don't mind him at all. Okay, he's playing, he's not hurting the team defensively. I think he's pretty good in that sense. And he, got a few chances tonight, created a little bit tonight. Lane, Newhook, love Newhook. I've loved Newhook for a while now. Even last year before he got injured. Newhook, I like him, man. I really, really like Newhook. I think Newhook is the perfect player, perfect kind of player for a third line grinder who could potentially score 20 goals. That's where I see Alex Newhook. And I think it's not even a stretch. I think him and 20 goals, I think that makes sense. I think he can do that year after year. Is he a center? Maybe. Maybe he's a third line center. Is he the second line center? I'm not sure yet. But he's playing really good hockey right now. And we got, like, it's the kind of players that teams need to win, right? Those, gritty, hardworking, goes to the net. I like it. I like him a lot. A lot. Okay? I do. And Patrick Laine, 5-on-5, not bad tonight. Pretty decent. I don't have a lot to say about Patrick Laine. He is who he is at this point. Did he hurt the team tonight? No. Has he hurt the team lately? No. He's actually helped them. So, I mean, am I going to do I want the Montreal Canadiens to sign him long-term beyond next year? No, I don't. Unless you can get him at a discount, like a real good discount. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. I'm not totally convinced that Patrick Laine is going to be on this team in a couple of years. But anyways, moving on. Sam Montembeault stopped 22 of 25 shots. Another great game by him. He moves to 7-0-1 since the Four Nations break. Obviously looked bad on that Travis Hamonic goal. But I think overall looked pretty good, right? Especially that save. Who was it on? I don't remember who it was on, but in the first period when he, robbed someone from an empty net. Forget who took that shot, but man, he's been amazing, man. Montembeault has been a complete stud, and it's just like, yeah, you can credit Nick Suzuki for taking this team on his back, but you can also thank Lane Hudson. You can also thank Juraj Slafkovsky, Cole Caulfield. You can also thank Sam Montembeault, because Montembeault has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. Anybody who questions whether or not Sam Montembeault is a number one goalie, I'm sorry, but he's a number one goalie. You know what I mean? He is. He's a Four Nations gold medal champion. And he's playing really well with the Habs right now. So, love Sam Montembeault. I haven't checked the schedule, but if there's a back-to-back, maybe we'll see Dobish. But if there are no more back-to-backs, I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Montembeault gets the rest of the season as for starts. You know what I mean? I don't see him. I don't know. Unless it's a back-to-back, I think Montembeault's starting. Right? I don't see why they would go with Dobish. Dobish is a good goalie. No question about it. For sure, he's been good. But I think you ride Montembeault, especially as the season winds down. Because now we got 15 games left? 15 games? And the Montreal Canadiens are sitting in a playoff spot? Is this real life? This was not supposed to happen, but it's happening. And I couldn't be more excited. This is amazing. Tonight was amazing. I love the Montreal Canadiens. I love them. I love this team. I love how hard they work. I love how they never give up. And I love how they love playing in front of the Montreal crowd. Again, the crowd tonight at the Bell Center felt electric. Oh, I wish I was there. I wasn't. I was at home in Ottawa watching my favorite team beat my hometown. Do I like the Ottawa Senators? Not really. Do I hate them? No, I don't hate them. I don't. But that rivalry, though, honestly, the Montreal-Ottawa rivalry is probably the best rivalry that the Montreal Canadiens have right now. Sorry, but the Bruins, it's kind of died down, kind of gone. The Leafs, it's fun watching the Leafs and the Habs on a Saturday night, sure. But it's not as intense, right? The the Ottawa-Montreal rivalry right now, it's intense. Like, the players care a lot. They're physical. They like to fight. No fighting tonight. That's fine. Didn't expect it, to be honest, because the game's too important. But I just love the intensity between Ottawa and Montreal. And, like, we're right down the road. 2 hours to Montreal. So obviously. And it's so exciting that these two teams are finally getting good at the same time. Right? Like, it's going to make the rivalry even better. So, yeah, I'm super excited about that. Super excited about that. So, looking at the standings, where is Montreal? We all know that they're in the playoff spot, which is awesome. But they move into the second wild card spot with 73 points. 73 points. They jumped over the New York Rangers, who lost 2-1 to the Calgary Flames. Thank you, Calgary Flames. Thank you so much. You did us such a big favor. A really big favor. And the cool thing is now the Rangers have 72 points. Montreal has 73. The best part about this all is that Montreal has 2 games in hand. 2 games in hand on the Rangers. So potentially, if we were to win those 2 games, we're not just 1 point ahead of the Rangers. We're like 5. Is it enough to be comfortable? No, we're going to have to keep winning. But a huge, huge win by the Flames. Thank you, Flames. That means a lot to us. It means a lot. I know Alberta doesn't always like Quebec, but you did us a real solid tonight, okay? Real solid, and we thank you greatly. Greatly. Okay, Washington. The Washington Capitals also beat the Detroit Red Wings tonight, 4-1. And Detroit, of course, they're looking for that second wild card spot. They're looking for it. Ain't going to get it. And if they don't, like, what the heck? Steve Yzerman, see ya. Time to go, man. You're just not getting the job done. What is going on with the Detroit Red Wings? 1 second they're winning 7-8 wins in a row. And then they're losing 6-7 in a row. Like, what kind of team has been assembled in Detroit? It's time to move on from Steve Yzerman. The Yzer plan is just not working. It's not working. What are you thinking? You know what I mean? Where do you start? Where do you go from here? Don't even know. Whatever. Not my team. Don't really care as long as they don't make the playoffs. I'm good. The New York Islanders, though. The New York Islanders beat the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight, 4-2. They sit at 70 points. 3 points back of Montreal with the same number of games played. Do the Islanders scare me? They do a little bit. For sure, they do. They scare me. They scare me. Why? Because it's one of those teams. They always stick around. You know what I mean? They have that pedigree from a few years ago, right? When they were going to Eastern Conference Finals. When they were going to, going far in the playoffs. I think they took Tampa Bay in 2021 to Game 7. If only they had won Game 7, then Montreal may have been Stanley Cup champions. Who knows? Who knows? Whatever. You can't look backwards. But the Islanders, man, they just stick around. They kind of stick around. They worry me a little bit. But anyways, the good thing is they're 3 points back, same amount of games played. But the good thing is the Montreal Canadiens play the New York Islanders on Thursday in New York. So that's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a very important game. A very important game. We get Patrick Waugh and the New York Islanders. Obviously, another game that we need to win. But at this moment, everybody listening, to all the Montreal Canadiens fans, just enjoy tonight. Enjoy tonight looking at the standings. Go to bed, look at the standings. Enjoy it. Tomorrow, when you wake up in the morning, look at the standings. Enjoy it. Because I will. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll wake up and I'll look at my phone. I'll look at the standings. And then later in the day, I'll look at the standings again because that makes me happy. It makes me really happy. And this is why we watch hockey. This is why we follow the Montreal Canadiens for moments like these. Moments where we get to enjoy this team, where we get to enjoy the wins, the race. Just so excited. And on that note, Pelly, you're here in spirit. He's in Alberta. He's fine. But next episode, I'm hoping he'll be ready to go. But on that note, that does do it for another episode of the Barely Onside podcast. Thanks for listening, watching. Please follow us on Facebook and TikTok at Barely Onside Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can also listen to us on Spotify.